Let's talk a little bit more, Julie Hyman, about Netflix's latest quarter.
Yeah, you guys talked about subscribers a little bit. I do want to mention the forecast for subscribers also seems to be short of estimates at 3.5 million. 5.9 million, give or take, is what analysts have been projecting for this current quarter. Let's talk to one such analyst. Nat Schindler is with Bank of America, and he covers the stock. And Nat, in your note reacting to the numbers, you said really the question is, what is the long-term subscriber growth trajectory for a Netflix? And did we get any sort of intel that leads us to a conclusion on that front from this quarter? Because we have had, 2 years that have been so unusual for everyone and for Netflix in particular.
No, I don't think we learned much of anything from this quarter. Actually, they beat net subscriber additions this quarter by quite a bit. 50% over their guidance. Now, last quarter, they missed by 33. Now, of course, these numbers are tiny if you look at total subscribers. And as I talked with you last quarter, these are inherently volatile numbers. You're talking about, less than 0.25% difference on their total subs was what they got this quarter. On next quarter's guidance versus the street, you're talking less than 1%. So these are very small numbers and don't really mean anything on the long haul. What you should be looking at is the sum of 2018, 2019. It's about 56 million net subscriber additions. They were very consistent, around 27 million in both those years. Last year was almost 37 million. This year, I'm now projecting around 16 million. But is that total going to be roughly the same, somewhere north of somewhere in the mid 50 millions? If that's the case, then all we did in the pandemic is move a lot of subscribers from this year into last year and get a preview of the incredible profitability and cash flow dynamics of this business.
Nat, how disappointed are you that their gaming venture at this point, just based on what they said last night, looks like a little bit of a sideshow for them, not a real core business?
Yeah, I was never expecting much here. Gaming is a highly competitive business and is very difficult to break into. They have some IP that they would like to have games built off of. They've already been doing this. There's nothing all that spectacular about what they sound like they're doing. It sounds like their ambitions are pretty light, at least for now. I think it's rather telling that the last several times they've mentioned gaming, they say, oh, we're all including this quarter. They say, oh, we're already in gaming. We made Bandersnatch, which I think the guys at Activision making Call of Duty might have a little stretch on the term of gaming. That's a choose your own adventure book. And it's fascinating IP, but it isn't really what we think of as really high-end gaming.
I'm curious, it's Myles here, and thanks for jumping on again. I'm curious how you're thinking about their share of viewership, right? The way they framed it with, they only have 7% of the whole bucket from that Nielsen survey that they had in their letter. And I'm just, curious what you think maybe the team at Netflix is thinking about that long-term opportunity and how that, maybe plays into your model, if it does at all here.
Well, I think this is the real story, and it's been the real story for years, and I think people have vastly overplayed the impact of Disney Plus and Amazon Prime and all the other streaming services. Because in the end, what's really important is, can you take share away from cable and linear TV? And they have been doing that at a rapid pace. I do not see all these other streaming services as direct competition. They are obviously competition for time, but people will subscribe to multiple because they will go where the content is. And where the content isn't going to be is on cable.
Nat, what do you think is the biggest risk for Netflix at this point?
I think the risk here is the one you didn't learn anything about in this quarter, or really this year, is that did the pandemic swing forward so many people that we really hit that second inflection point on the S curve of penetration, where we're really completely it's saturated in many of their core markets. I don't believe that's the case. I believe there's 800 million cable subscribers globally, cable and pay TV subscribers globally, and they're sitting at 200 million, and they have better content, so they should be able to continue to eat away at that share. But we didn't learn anything one way or the other on whether or not that's the case. If you looked in their UCAN or United States and Canada region, they were down in 2Q of this year. That's actually not surprising. They were down in 2019 in UCAN, and they will be in almost every Q2 going forward. Last year, 2020 was the exception with the pandemic, but should be expected simply because this is a low gross sub ad quarter, and you're churning off a larger and larger base each year. But the question is, are we done? Have we gotten to as far as it's going to go? And you're not going to answer that question yet.
Now, we have a graphic here showing just how many streaming services there are. I'm looking at it, right? It's Discovery Plus. I mean, and the numbers, it's almost getting out of hand. Discovery Plus, Apple TV Plus, Paramount Plus, CNN Plus looks like they'll launch in 2022. When is the shakeout going to happen? Do we need all of these streaming services?
Well, it's not all that expensive to create a streaming service. What's expensive is creating the content. And a lot of these guys are repurposing content that they already have. In the end, what matters to consumers is really new original content that they really want to see. And it's going to be very hard for virtually anyone to compete with the budgets that Netflix and Disney and Amazon have put together. So those will be the core. Will you subscribe to Peacock because you want to see that next Star Trek? Maybe. But you're probably not going to keep it on all the time. Or similar to HBO, and Max and others that are doing far fewer total shows. Netflix is going for that idea that you can have it as a subscriber permanently because there's always something new to watch.
On that front, Nat, before we let you go, favorite Netflix show right now?
I'm going to say Fauda just because it will make me sound intelligent and thoughtful because it's something I quite frankly haven't actually seen it. But I'm going to say that. That makes me sound really intelligent.
All right, there you go. Very intelligent, incisive analyst, Nat Schindler. Nat, I always appreciate the time. Nat Schindler with Bank of America covering Netflix. Nat, we'll talk to you soon.